continue to breed the same kind of pressure internationally that we've been trying to. We're going to continue to work the issue. As you know, if this goes to a military solution, it is going to be tragic on an unbelievable scale.
You know, that's the defense secretary talking about North Korea. All options, all other economic measures we seem to have taken don't seem to do the trick. And, of course, the North Koreans keep heaving missiles. Remember, they seem to do so every weekend, so they're due for one this weekend. Hudson Institute National Security Fellow Rebecca Heinrichs. You know, Rebecca, what he seems to be intimating there is that a military solution, which might be our last option, is a devastating option. And there are no good tacks we take. So it raises the question, what would that military option be? Shooting down a missile over the Korean Peninsula if the dictator there launches one? Over land? What?
Well, you know, we have to be prepared for anything. We certainly have. That's why we deployed the THAAD battery, that's a missile defense battery, to South Korea. Remember, we've got something like 28,000 American forces and associated personnel there to defend South Korea, our ally. So we don't want a military option. But again, missile defense is an option. If they do shoot a missile, you know, the United States might have to shoot one down, but there will be more, which is why the United States has to, of course, protect ourselves with our own missile defense systems at home. But you know, the Secretary of Defense is right. We do not want a military to use military force against Korea, but we got to be prepared to do it if we need to.
Are you getting the sense, though, that they are contemplating something like that? That sanctions can only go so far. You know, North Korea has to be the most sanctioned country on earth, and someone is helping or backing them up, presumably China, and that China might just be stringing us along.
Well, you know, everyone always wants to say that we've exhausted everything when it comes to sanctions, but that's not really true.
Really?
China has actually blocked a lot of really biting sanctions or hasn't enforced current ones. So it does look like to me that the Chinese are nervous. They think that we've got an American president now that is serious whenever he threatens to use military force. And it does appear that that is seriously on the table, especially with the Secretary of Defense. And so I think that China is going to be putting a lot more pressure on North Korea, and that is exactly what we want to see happen.
You know, in the case of Syria with the first Tomahawk missile strike, if memory serves me right, Rebecca, we gave the Russians a heads up that we were going to do this. Would we, and do you think, should we do the same with the Chinese in the event that we are determined to shoot down a missile that the North Koreans launch?
Well, again, the United States, of course, has the prerogative to protect our own people. And so we're watching. We can see where these missiles are headed once they're launched. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to blow up a missile on a launch pad.
But would that be deemed a provocative act? In other words, would the North Koreans see that as an act of war and of course, play out the rest of the monstrous possibilities there?
It depends on where the missile is headed, and it depends on where we intercept it. If we intercept the missile when it's halfway, you know, headed towards Hawaii or headed towards the west coast of the United States, that is an act of self-defense. The entire international community will recognize that. And it would be very difficult for the North Koreans to make the argument that they have been the aggressor, that they have not been the aggressors in that instance. If we blow up a missile preemptively, that's going to cause some problems for the United States internationally. So we would really like to avoid that if we can, of course. So we're watching them, of course, no doubt we're watching them, and our best bet is to get our allies and our friends to actually put some pressure on them too.
Yeah, that last missile was a lot closer to Russia than it was Japan. You think that would wake them up? Rebecca, thank you very, very much.